I am going to get started on our practice today. We are going to be needing a mat and a blanket, and we're going to be focusing today on our feet, right? Because our feet keep us grounded, they keep us standing tall, they keep us from falling over when things don't go right. So let's get started, let's get on our mats, and let's get going. Today we're going to start in a standing position, or actually no, we're not. We're starting in a sitting position because I do want to talk a little bit about our feet, right? So your feet, you have 2 of them, hopefully, and you have 10 toes, hopefully. So take your foot, take your left foot on your right knee. I'm going to take my glasses off. And just try to spread your feet out, or your toes out. And what I'm talking about is like try to spread them out as far as you can. If you can't do that, that's okay, because a lot of us don't really think about our feet too much and don't pay attention to our toes and all the different bones in our feet. But today, just before we get started, let's just look at our feet. So we have the ball of our foot here, and we have the side of the foot, and then of course we have our heel. A lot of us don't have really high arches, and sometimes this can cause problems, some of you may know, called plantar fasciitis. So actually my husband has that problem right now, and what I've been teaching him is if you take your feet and take your fingers and interlace your fingers in between your toes, and this might be hard for some of you because our toes are tight and they're not used to moving that much. But get your fingers in between your toes and just kind of hold on to them. And what you're going to do also is hold on to your arch and not move that part of your foot. And we're just going to move the toes back and forth and back and forth. See if we can get some movement in our poor little toes. And move that around for a little bit. And then we'll take our right leg and just put that over, so you're comfortable. And again, look at your foot, the ball of your foot, the side here, the heel of your foot. And then try to spread out your toes again. Try to spread them out as best you can. And then take your left hand and interlace your left fingers in between your toes. And you'll see, and again, hold on to the arch. We just want to move the toes back and forth. And just get some movement there. This may hurt for some of you, so be gentle. But we're just awakening our toes and being aware of our feet. Now, get your blanket, sit on the edge of your blanket, and bring the soles of your feet together. Your legs may be up here, and that's fine. We just want to get more height underneath your hips if this is too uncomfortable for you. But we're just going to sit here, and we're going to press the soles of our feet together. And on the edge of our feet, press that part and feel the weight of the balls of your feet, the edge of your foot, and your heels. They should all just be pushing together as best you can. And we're going to be creating awareness today in our practice of our feet, our wonderful feet that keep us standing, keep us from falling, enable us to walk around and do things. So we're going to be thinking about our feet today. Now let's come out of that. Bring your hands to the outsides of your knees. Bring your knees together. And then we're just going to come into a comfortable seated position. And we're just going to quiet down for a moment. Go ahead and close your eyes. Remember to have your hips and then your shoulders stacked over your hips and your head right directly above your shoulders. Tuck the chin just a little bit so we can get straight up and down on the behind the head. Just place your hands on your knees. And now interlace your fingers and bring your hands to your lower belly. Take a deep breath in and feel your belly extend in as you take a deep breath in. Breathe out with your mouth. Take another deep breath in. Feel your belly extend toward your hands. Deep breath out. One more deep breath in. And exhale through the mouth. I realize I might have said those in a weird way, so just bear with me. Now, just breathe in at the pace of your own breath. Whatever you were doing before, you're sitting right here at this moment. Just let that go. For me, it's all the technical difficulties I had with this Facebook Live video. I'm letting that go. Whatever you were doing, just let that go. And don't worry about what's to come next after this, later today, later this weekend. Just leave that alone for a moment. And again, just be here where you're sitting and take some deep breaths. One last breath. And now flood your eyes open. Welcome. So now we're going to take our blanket away and we're going to start from a standing position today. And again, we're paying attention to our feet. So have your feet hip distance apart. I'm going to face this way, but we're standing in mountain pose or Tadasana. And ground your feet down into your mat. Spread your toes as wide as you can. Put the balance of your weight not too much on the balls of your feet, not too much in the heels, right in that nice sweet spot in between the balls and the heels of your feet. Your hips are stacked above your knees. And what I want you to do here is take your kneecaps and imagine pulling them up so that you feel your quadriceps and your hamstrings engage. You tuck your tail, not too much, but just engage the core. My yoga teacher likes to say, do a polite cough. That feeling right there, that's engaging your core. Take your shoulders, make sure they're above your hips. You're going to spread across the collarbone, and you're going to tuck the chin just a little bit so that you get a nice straight neck and head, and then you're just going to place your arms at your side. Imagine your feet rooting down into the earth like tree roots. Now I want you to challenge yourself here. Again, be aware of your feet and the balance that they give you. So close your eyes as you're standing here in mountain pose. And you may feel yourself sway just a little bit. But remember, your feet are there, your legs are engaged, your hips are locked in, and your core is strong. So you shouldn't feel too much wavering here. Take 2 deep breaths. If you need to open your eyes to get your balance, go ahead. Okay, now let's open our eyes. We should feel solid here in our standing Tadasana mountain pose. Now we're going to take If you're already at the front of your mat, just stay where you are, but I'm moving up here. And what we're gonna do next is we're gonna raise our arms up. And I want you to remember that rooting down in your feet, the balance between the balls and the heels of your foot, your tailbone tucked a little bit, the polite cough. So raise your hands up. And again, you should be stretching your arms in this direction and your feet grounding down. This is Urdhva Hirastasana, which is upward salute pose. We're going to stand here for a couple of breaths. And on your next exhale, bring the arms down to the side, back to Tadasana. Now the next pose we're going to do, again with all of our awareness in the feet, is we're going to do fierce pose, or what a lot of people call chair pose. So we're going to start from upward salute with our hands up. We're going to take our tailbone and point it toward the back and bend the knees. Now we want to make sure that this is not too tipping forward. Our pelvis is tipping forward like this. We want to kind of keep it neutral. We want to make sure that the knees are tracking forward here. We're not doing this, but the knees are kind of behind the toes. And then we bring the hands up. Remember that polite cough. Engage your abdominals. Fierce pose. Take a couple of breaths here. The arms can be up here by the side. If you get too fatigued, you can bring them here in prayer position. You can also have them out front like this, or up by the ears. Another breath. On an exhale, let's straighten the knees, come up to upward salute. Exhale the hands down to Tadasana. Now let's do a little flow with that. We're going to start in Tadasana. Breath here in, out. Raise the arms up into upward salute. Breath in, out. Take an inhale. Bend the knees. Tip the tailbone toward the back. Make sure the knees are not over the toes. Again, you can be here with the arms if you want. Take a couple of breaths. Inhale, come up with your hands up. And then exhale, hands down. All right, so now we're going to go into a little flow. And we're going to do Surya Namaskar B, or Sun Salute B. I'm learning Sanskrit, so anyone out there watching, please don't correct me because I'm probably wrong, but I'm still learning. Okay, so we're going to start in Tadasana. We're going to take a deep breath in, raise the arms up. We're going to exhale, tip the tail back, bend the knees into fierce pose. Then we're going to inhale, exhale, forward fold. And again, remember your feet here. If this is your first forward fold of the day, you can bend your knees. If you don't come all the way to the ground with your hands, that's fine. You could be here. You could be here, whatever works for you. But keep your mind on your feet. Now, when you're forward folding like this, a lot of us tend to lean back into our heels, but we want to, again, put more weight in the balls of our feet, and you almost want to feel like you're going to tip forward. And at some point when your hamstrings get flexible enough, you should be able to, dump your head all the way over and, again, feel like you're almost tilting forward. But if you're not there today, that's fine. Take a couple of breaths here. Then we're going to come up halfway, then forward fold, Then we're going to inhale, come all the way up, and exhale, hands at the heart. So now we'll start with our Surya Namaskar B, Sun Salute B. So deep breath in, arms up, back into fierce pose. Take an exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bring your hands down, and we're stepping back into our first downward dog. So we're going to take it slow. Notice I'm up on my toes here. What we want to do is bend the knees. Make sure that from your wrists to your hips is a straight line. And then we work to straighten the legs if possible. We can pump them up, your legs like this if you want. If you're like, no way, I am no way straightening my leg, then keep it bent as much as you need to. Take a deep breath here. Then we're going to roll forward into plank pose. And if this is too much, you can definitely put your knees down. So we're going to be in plank pose. Now, for those of us who have been working on it, you can come forward on the toes, lower down into chaturanga, and then all the way down. But another way you can do that is knees down. Again, kind of roll forward, but slowly down, and you want to point your elbows toward the back. Now we're going to take an inhale, cobra pose, but before we do that, actually, take your toes, again, thinking of the feet, and put weight into the toes. What's going to happen is you're going to feel your knees come up off the ground. Try not to lock the knees, but you want them to be engaged. Then press down in your pubic bone, and then we're going to slowly use the strength of our arms to come up into cobra, and then exhale. Do that again. Activate the toes so your knees come off the ground. Put weight into your pubic bone, and we're going to stretch out into cobra pose, and then exhale down. From here, tuck the toes, push up into plank, and again, you can do plank at the knees, and then into downward dog. Then you're going to raise the right leg, bring your knee in toward the nose, and then put your foot down wherever it goes. If it goes here, then just lift it up and bring it forward. Doesn't have to look pretty, right? We're practicing at home. Now, remember that your heel and your knee should be in line here. Your weight should be between your front foot and the back left foot, the ball of the foot. You shouldn't have to be using too much weight on your hands here. And if you feel it, go ahead and come up. Again, weight should be in between both legs. And if this is good for you, just stay right here. If you want, go ahead and add the arms. Take a breath here. Then from here, we're going to take the arms, bring them down. Bring your hands down, step back into downward dog. Then we're going to go high on our toes, look forward, step all the way to the top of the mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come up to fierce pose. Again, watching the knees and the feet. And then hands up into prayer pose. That's a lot. So let's try that again on the other side. So we're starting with prayer pose. We're going to inhale into chair pose or fierce pose. We're going to exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step back into downward dog. From here, we're going to roll up into plank pose. I'm going to put my knees down, elbows to the back of the room as we lower down. Activate the toes so the knees come up. Engage the pelvis. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. We're going to come up into downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale in, left leg rise. Exhale, knee to nose. Place the left foot wherever it goes. Get your balance between your front left foot and the right ball of the foot. We're going to inhale, come up to your knee. And if this is where your balance is good, stay here. If you want, inhale, hands overhead. Then exhale, everybody come down. Here, I'm sorry, I lost my place. Now into downward dog. And then look up, walk to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, up to fierce pose. Exhale, hand at the heart. Good job. Now let's start going into another standing pose. We're going to do that through our Sira Namaskar. So we'll start here. Again, thinking of the feet, grounding down, ball of the foot, heel of the foot in between. Start here, and here we go. Hands overhead into chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands down, step back into downward dog. Then we're going to roll over into plank pose. I'm putting my knees down, elbows to the back of the room. Lower yourself down. Activate the toes and the pubic bone. Inhale up for cobra. Exhale down into downward dog. Inhale, rise the right leg. Exhale, knee to nose, plant the foot. This time, we'll take that back foot. We're going to pivot so that it's perpendicular to the front foot. The heel is in line with the arch of the back foot, and we're going to come up to warrior pose. And I'm facing the wrong way. But again, we want to bend the front knee, make sure that the knee and the heel are in line. We're putting weight to the edge of the left foot, and then we're putting our arms out, looking over the middle finger of our right arm, or right hand. Again, think about your toes and the grounding down. Then what we're going to do is take your right arm, rest it on the front of your bent leg, then take the left arm, bring it up and over. And what we want to do is make sure this left arm is a straight line between that and our left foot. Take a couple of breaths here. And then inhale, come up. We're going to cartwheel our way down, back to downward facing dog. Look forward, walk to the front of our mat. Halfway lift, inhale, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come up to fierce pose. Exhale, hands at the heart. Now the other side. Inhale, hands up into fierce pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step back to downward facing dog. exhale here. Lift your left leg. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot. We're coming into plank pose from downward dog. Knees down, elbows toward the back of the room as we lower down. Activate the toes and the pubic bone. Inhale, cobra. Exhale into downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot comes up high. We're bringing the left foot forward, bringing that so that the front foot, and we're going to rotate the right foot, the heel of the left foot, and the arch of the right foot are in line. Sorry, almost fell. Now we're going to come up. Make sure that your knee's in line with your heel. And we're going to hold a couple breaths here. Put weight to the edge of your right foot. Then we're going to take the left arm, rest it on your left leg. Take that right arm and bring it up over your head. And again, from the tip of your right arm down to your right side of your foot is a straight line. Take a deep breath here. And then come up into warrior pose. We're going to windmill the arms down, step back into downward facing dog. Look forward, walk to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up to chair pose. Exhale, hands at the heart. Now, for this next pose, I would recommend maybe using a wall for balance. So this is both a strengthening and a balancing pose, and you do have to think about the feet in this. So we're doing Garudasana, which is eagle pose. So before we start, stand in Tadasana with your hands at your side. Again, feet rooting down into the earth. Balance between the ball and the heel of the foot. Engage the kneecaps so that the thighs are working. Do the quick polite cough. Your tailbones engage, broad across the shoulders, arms down, straight back of the neck in Tadasana. From here, we're going to bring the hands at the heart. We're going to lean most of the weight into the left foot. You'll take your right foot and just point. And again, that left foot, think about gripping down with the ball of the foot, balance between the heel and the ball. Now raise that right leg, and what you want to do is pick something in the distance to focus on. This is balancing and strength. And then go ahead and shake that left leg out. We'll do that again on this side. Again, starting from Tadasana. Strong feet, engage the quads, polite cough, broad across the collarbone, hands at the side. Now bring your hands to prayer position, and we're going to put weight into the right side, right foot. Imagine that right foot grounding down, and then point your left foot. Now we're going to lift that left foot up and balance. Look in the distance, and then come down and shake that foot out. Okay, that's just preparing you for the balancing that's required in eagle pose. So now I'm going to kind of lean against the wall here, and I'm going to use this. I'm not going to use it as a full crutch, but it's there if I need it. If you have a wall, go ahead and get against the wall. Now, if you don't have a wall, the other thing you can do is get a block or a book. I have a book here, and you can put it in the center of the room, and I'll just give you an example here. So we're going to bend at the knees, hands at the heart, and we're going to cross the leg over and you can balance it here on the blocks. So, but I'm going to be here at the wall. So go ahead, we're going to bend the knees like we did in chair pose, okay? And we're going to have hands at the heart. Then we're going to put all the weight into the right foot. We're going to lift the left foot up and over. Now, if you can have the flexibility, you can wrap that foot around. Right now, my knee is like, no, no, no. So I'm just going to leave it right there. Now what we're going to do, bring the hands up into like a goalpost or cactus position. Now you're going to take the right elbow above the left elbow, both the back of the hands together. If you have the flexibility, you can twist the hands like this and grab. And now take a deep breath. Remember that polite cough. Take a deep breath. Remember that foot, that right foot rooting down into the ground. Now unwind the arms, take the foot off or the left leg and then shake it out. Woo, wait a minute. Okay, now let's try the next side. I'm going to try this one in the center of the room. For those of you who want to stay at the wall, you can stay at the wall. Okay, we're standing in Tadasana. So I want this to my left foot because my right foot's going to come around this way. And that is what I'll be using for my balance. So we're going to take the hands at the heart, bend the knees, make sure that the knees are not over the toes. And we're going to stand up as straight as we can. Pelvis should be nice and neutral. Then we're going to put the weight into the left leg and then cross that right leg over. Again, if you want to grab, twist it around and grab it, you can, but I'm just going to set it here for balance. Then we'll take the arms up to cactus arms. This time the left elbow is going to come on top of the right. Bring the hands together. If you can grip, go ahead. Remember the polite cough. That will help you keep your balance. Take a breath here. Then unwind the arms, unwind the legs, and shake it out. Shake it off. All right, so we're going to move the props. And we are going to come to the front of the mat in Tadasana. And we're going to raise the hands up overhead. We're going to exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to step back into downward dog. Then bring the knees down and we're coming into tabletop pose. From here, you'll need your blanket. We're going to take the right foot and step it forward. We're going to extend the left leg back, and you'll need your blanket because we're coming into pigeon pose. And this is a nice prop for your hips. So you take your right foot to your left hand and your right knee to your right hand, and then look back at your extended leg to make sure that we're in line. And again, if this feels really, really, really tight, you can do this laying down, or we stretch our hips this way. We're just doing it in a different way in relationship to gravity. So if this is too intense, lay down on your back and do the figure 4. If not, come into pigeon pose here. Take a deep breath in and then exhale, come onto your forearms if that's good for you. You can put your forehead onto your forearms, whichever, or you can just stay right here, whatever feels good for you. So take a few breaths here. Then to come out of pigeon's pose, we're going to tuck the left foot and we're going to press into our hands and come up into downward dog. And then shake that right foot out. You can kick it out. You can turn your knee out like this and then bring it back down to the ground. Then come back into tabletop pose. Switch your blanket to the other side. And then bring your right foot forward. Stretch out the right leg. We're going to bring the blanket down, so when we take our left foot to our right hand and our left knee to the left hand, we have the blanket resting right here. And again, if this is too much, lay on your back and do a figure 4 for the other side of your hips. Again, look back, make sure that your leg is in line. Take a deep breath here, and then come forward onto your forearms or hands on to your forearms here. I think I'm going to stay right here. Take a few breaths here. To come out of pigeon, tuck the right toe, bring your hands up and put weight into your hands and push up into downward dog. And we're going to fling the blanket to the side. Take your left leg and shake it out. Do what feels good to shake that out. Then put your back into downward dog. Now from here, we're going to come down to the knees. We're going to bring our toes together and our knees wide. And we're going to lay our chest down into child pose. You want your hips back towards your feet. And you might be up here, that's okay. But just relax here, take a few breaths here. Okay, on your last breath, come back up to tabletop and then have a seat on the left side and bring your legs around. We're going to work on the core here as we slowly roll down onto our back. And we're going to take windshield wipers, so feet to the edge of your mat. Drop your knees to the right. And then center to the left. Do that a few times. Then what we're going to do is hug your knees in. We're going to hug in tight. Hug in real tight. One last squeeze. Bring your head up in between your knees. Squeeze and then release. Stretch out your legs to the edges of your mat. Let your feet just flop. Bring your hands to your sides. Turn your palms up. Take your shoulders down your back. And take a deep breath in. Let it out through the mouth. Deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. One last time, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Now let everything go. Relax all your limbs. Imagine yourself sinking down into the ground, and we'll take a few moments here. And I will cue you out of Shavasana, corpse pose. Now bring awareness to your toes and to your fingers. Wiggle your toes and fingers. Bend your knees and put your feet flat on the floor. And roll to the right side. Use the strength of your hands to push you up to a seated position. Sit down in a comfortable cross-legged position. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through your mouth. One more deep breath in through your nose. Deep breath through the mouth, or exhale through the mouth. Bring your hands into prayer position at your heart. Thank you for practicing with me and for bearing with my technical difficulties. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. Namaste. Thank you.